Good morning. In accordance with sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act, I hear an echo. My laptop's muted. Someone else's is. Bottom left, is it muted? You see where you turn your camera off? Right beside it, on your screen. Yeah. Test.
Still there.
Oh, excuse us, we're having a few technical difficulties this morning. It's not the microphone, is it? No. Sorry? Test. Sounds like it's coming from you. Test. Still. I think it's here. I can hear it. I think it might be his laptop, but. Test. 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 We got it good? All right. Apologies. All right, we're good to go now. I will start again. Good morning. In accordance with sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. My name is Mary Ann Casson, and I will be chairing today's session. Panel members today are Mr. Nipfeld to my left and Ms. Klein to my right, and myself. Our Deputy Secretary Treasurer today is Simon Lamb. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. For those participating virtually, when your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons, and public bodies are permitted to appeal decisions of the committee. Today, I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is contested, the agent or applicant will proceed with their presentation. When an application is uncontested, the committee may not require a presentation. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for a decision. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept new materials at the hearing today. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee. Then individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Each speaker, including the applicant, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5-minute mark. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has an opportunity to rebut those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Mr. Secretary Treasurer, do we have any minutes to adopt today?
Through you, Madam Chair, thank you very much. We have 2 sets of minutes. We have the minutes from our April 30th, 2026 meeting. Present was yourself, Ms. Klein, Mr. Bartolo, Mr. Marziari, and Ms. Sankar.
All right, could we have a motion to adopt the minutes?
Madam Chair, I will create
Forward a motion?
forward a motion to approve those minutes
Thank
from
you.
April 30th.
And Mr. Nipfeld will second. Thank you very much. All in favor? All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our second set of minutes to approve is from our May 7th, 2026 hearing. Present was Mr. Allison, Mr. Schwartz, Mr. Nipfeld, Ms. Sankar, and Mr. Vazzelli.
All right, thank you. A motion to adopt? Mr. Nipfeld?
I'd like to move approval of the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Klein will second that motion. All in favor? That's carried. Okay, files to be closed. Oh, sorry. Do we have files to be closed?
Yes, so Madam Chair, through you, we have 1 file to close. The file number is A0422-24NY. The address is 880 Eglinton Avenue East, and the applicant has withdrawn the file, so I'm just looking for a motion to close the file.
All right, thank you. Could we have a motion to close the file? Mr. Nipfeld?
I move to close the file, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. And seconded by Ms. Klein. All in favor? That is carried. Sorry? Oh, yes. Do we have any conflicts today? No? All right. No conflicts noted. Deferral requests.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have 1 file that is requesting a deferral. It's item number 13, 124 Cheltenham Avenue.
All right, let's deal with the deferral first. Do we have the applicant in the audience or there? Yes, if you could come forward, please. And just ensure the microphone is on.
Yep.
All right, we'll start with your name and address, please.
Yes, Brad Abbott of Abbott Design, representing the owners at 124 Cheltenham.
And the reason for the deferral request?
We had some last-minute pushback from a neighbor, and we're looking to do some redesign. The owners also got some bad news last week about health issues too, so they're not in the mood to proceed right now.
Okay.
They'd like to defer it indefinitely if they can. I know there's a 1-year period in which they have to act, or it gets stale. So we'll act within the year, but we wouldn't like to nail down a new date yet.
All right, thank you. And anyone in the audience on this item? No? All right. We'll take it into committee. Ms. Klein?
Madam Chair, thank you very much to you. I hear the applicant's request for the deferral to look at some redesign and health issues and have further discussions with the neighbors. And I would support that, so I would make a motion to defer the hearing to another day.
All right.
I know that there are timelines on this. I'm not sure that we can enforce those here at committee, but I think that I'd be happy to approve the deferral.
All right. And Mr. Nipfeld will second that motion. All in favor? That is carried. Your deferral's been granted.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Let's begin with item 1. "25 Tangiers Road." This is to convert Unit 3 of the existing warehouse into a indoor go-kart recreational use. The variances are for recreation use that is not on a lot that fronts a major street. On file, we have a survey, plans, site plan, photos, and a community planning report. All right, and do we have our applicant with us?
Yes.
Good morning. Could we
Good
have your
morning,
name
Chair.
and
Yes.
address, please?
My name is Abhishek Rajgor from MEM Engineering Inc. Address 2355 Derry Road East, Unit 28, Mississauga.
Thank you. All right, there is, have you seen the community planning report?
Yes, madam.
And do you have any comments on that?
Yes, Madam Chair. We had provided a brief presentation as well, and I believe the owners had also arranged to get a support letter from the councillor. So if I can proceed to have a brief presentation.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. As you see, the application here, we are requesting to ask for the relief to allow the recreational use by converting a portion of this building into an indoor go-karting facility. Now, the
Sorry,
background,
Sir, can you
Yes.
just stop for 1 sec? Is there a presentation, staff? Or could we put the site plan up?
I believe, yes, I think we have to mention that it should be in the late presentation.
Oh, did we get a presentation?
Yes, we got the confirmation from Jenny Kotas. I'm just gonna pull it up. Please find yes, there we go.
Okay, good, thank you. Then we know what you're speaking about. We can follow
Yes.
it up better. All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Sorry, go ahead.
Right, so the reason for our request for the variance is this property falls in the E zone, employment zone, where recreational use as of right is actually a permitted use. However, if you go to the next slide, please. And so I would say slide number 3. The next one, please. So we are, as you can see on the site plan, this property is just one lot south from Finch Avenue West. And also it has just south of the building, there is a very big area for parking as well. So the property on its own has a lot of merits for a use like a recreational use. Also the community around, and there are other uses also, very community friendly uses, the condo apartment, a lot of families, a lot of kids. So this is where the landlord started getting inquiries since the last few months, and their current tenants had also started. There are 5 units in this building, and almost all the tenants have given the notice that they are trying to move out because of poor business, and these are warehousing and offices and stuff. But they are getting a lot of inquiries for recreational use, which is why they requested that if committee can have this here, because we do understand that it does not front the major street, but our request is that it's only one lot south. And all the more we find that merit is that even though there will be traffic, it's not going to enter through Finch. It's going to have to go through the smaller street, which has relatively less traffic. And right now there will be trucks turning and stuff, which is going to be changed into cars. So in fact, this will be a more I would say a less of a traffic prone as well than it is currently, and overall very nice utilization of this lot, except for the one definition that holds us is that we are not fronting a major street. So this is our main reason to have you like request this, that if you can consider the merit and allow the recreational use on this particular property.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Oh, sorry, were you finished?
Yes, the only thing we could find was it's on the last slide that it's not that committee obviously has to look at every case merit by merit, but there have been some we found have been in similar position like ours and have got some relief. So maybe that could be considered, but again, every lot is different, and everyone has case merit. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Mr. Nipfel?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Have you had discussions with the planning department?
Yes, sir. We had received a call from planning once we had submitted this out of courtesy, and they did mention that just because it is mentioned in the official plan that this is not a permitted use, unfortunately, they have to keep their position of not supporting. However, if this lot was fronting the major street, they would they wouldn't have a say. But because of that one condition on the official plan, they cannot change their position. So they did even chat with their own supervisor and before making this decision. So they didn't really have any objection as such, except for the fact that it's not complying to the official plan. That's all.
If I could clarify, excuse me, when you say they don't have any objections except that it doesn't comply with the official plan, that's an objection. I believe, I'm guessing, that their commentary was based on the fact that it is fairly clear that the official plan would not permit this kind of use. And I'm surprised that that you're suggesting that they would support this, because clearly they've sent us a report that says that this would require a change in land use, and quite appropriately, change of land use doesn't occur at the Committee of Adjustment. It requires an official plan amendment. So I'm just questioning what your understanding of the meeting was. It seems to me that the Planning Department's position is very clear. It's not that they support it if there was a change here or because it's located in a certain distance from an intersection. It's clear that it doesn't comply with the official plan, and as such, they cannot support it.
No, yes, I understand this position. However, again, we're mentioning the use itself is permitted in the zone, which is the employment zone. The use is not that the use is not permitted, but it's permitted with a condition that it must front a major street, and we are one lot south of major street. That is our request.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. Klein?
I'm just trying to phrase my question.
Okay.
You said that it's one block south of a major street. That's still not at a major street and poses confusion with the official plan. I'm not sure I'm following you. If you can clarify how that one block south.
Yeah, sorry, I meant one lot, not one block. Like one lot south.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is an apartment building like just before it, and then the Finch Avenue West. So we are one lot south. So it's not that we are in the deep industrial pocket. And coincidentally, we are seeing a few spaces that are even in the deep industrial pockets, but having the permissions of, badminton courts, and these are the uses that are mostly active in the evening time when people, finish offices, and that's where the industrial units are shut. So this, in a way, does not really present any clash of, multiple uses at the same time, and does actually make a good use of the facilities. And not that people will have to drive way inside the industrial area. They are like right behind the apartment building. So this, the location is what we are a bit requesting, that the location, even though it says E zone, and it's not in the official plan, but it is really behind the apartment building.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, are we finished with our questions? We'll take this into committee. Oh, Mr. Nipfel.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I think there's perhaps a misunderstanding on behalf of the applicant in terms of what the planning department's position was, but their report, which he has access to, is very clear. And that is that this is in an area in the official plan which does not permit the use that he's proposing. And as such, we could not say that it conforms to the policies and the intent and purpose of the official plan. As such, I don't believe we have any authority to prove this. So I would move that the application be refused because it does not comply with the official plan.
All right.
I am in agreement with Mr. Nepal in his assessment.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion?
I just did.
Oh, is that a motion?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And you'll second that motion, Ms. Klein? All right. All in favor of the motion? That is carried. The application has been refused. Yes, unanimous. Good Lord. Issues this morning. 150 Holcomb Road. This is an application to legalize and permit existing driveway and front yard landscaping. Excuse me, the variances are for percentage of front yard landscaping and driveway width. On file, we have a previous decision from August 2021, a survey, site plan, revised plan from April 29th, site photos, and a transportation review memo. We have our applicant.
Good morning through you, Madam Chair. Sal Creamy, address 2572 Eglinton Avenue West.
Thank you. All right, do we need a presentation? Perhaps you could just explain the reason for the application?
So it's to permit and legalize an existing condition. The house underwent a major renovation, and as such, the driveway was slightly enlarged at the bottom third. I actually visited the site and took multiple measurements for the width. There is a site plan that was submitted if you'd like to reference it. But for just over 2/3 of the driveway, it's actually under the 6 meter mark. It was slightly widened at the end. And the primary reason for the 0.3 widening is that there's an existing hydro pole at the west end of the property and a very narrow strip of landscaping. So they abutted a retaining wall that was the perimeter, the side of the driveway, as to minimize their access onto the neighboring property for access. And for the landscaping variance, our firm as well as myself, we're not involved with the construction, but what I can analyze is that there might have been a slight hiccup with the site plan because all that is in the front yard is the driveway, a very minimal landing to access the front porch, and the rest is soft landscaping.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Mr. Nipfel?
When you mentioned that there was a hiccup with the landscaping, are you challenging the numbers we have before us? It says here that the proposed front yard landscape area is 44.196%. Is that still correct?
So I can attest to the documents that are submitted part of this application, and the numbers for the variance are accurate and correct. What I meant was the previous decision and the previous application, there might have been a hiccup with those numbers, why we are where we are today.
Okay,
But the numbers part of this application are accurate and correct.
okay, thank you for clarifying.
All right, any other question? No? All right, we'll take this into committee. Thank you. Mr. Nipfeld?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I think that the variances before us are reasonable. As the applicant had indicated, the driveway is not the extra width for its entire duration, but only for a portion of the driveway. The minimal landscaping, I would argue, is in part because of the configuration of the lot. It's a triangular lot, and so the portion of the lot that can be contributed to landscaping is triangular, and I think that shape is resulting in there being numerically a little bit less landscaping than would be otherwise required. So I think that this is, given the circumstances, this is reasonable application before us, and I would be able to support it.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Klein, you willing to second that?
I am willing to second that.
Thank you very much. All in favor? That is carried. The application's been approved. All right. Item number 3 is 640 to 644 Shepherd Avenue East. This is an application to convert storage space and common areas on the ground floor to 4 one-bedroom units. The variances are for dwelling units on the ground floor, total number of dwelling units and number of one-bedroom units, number of bicycle parking spaces for the additional units. On file, we have a survey, plans, photos, and a TTC memo. Do we have our applicant in front of us? Welcome. Let's start with your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Matthew Chong, 132 Ashdale, Toronto, Ontario, agent for the owner.
Thank you very much. And do we want a presentation on this?
No, I just have a question.
Okay. Don't know that we need a presentation. It's pretty clear what you're proposing to do, unless there's something you want to point out to us specifically.
No, it's a fairly straightforward application, converting the 3 existing storage rooms and 1 management office, which will then be combined into the existing leasing office in order to provide.
Sorry, is the mic on there? I'm not sure they're hearing you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I guess I'm just speaking too far away.
He's too tall.
Yeah, and so the idea is to take the 3 storage units, provide much-needed rental housing for those units, and then combine the management office into the existing leasing office and provide a 4th one. And so that's the crux of the position here.
All right, great. And I think Mr. Nipfeld has a question for you.
Thank you. Mr. Chong, my only question had to do with the bicycle parking. Is there bicycle parking for the dwelling units that exist in the buildings now? And you're not proposing, I'm not clear for the variance, you're not proposing to add to, or you're not proposing that there be any bicycle parking?
When there is bicycle parking currently, and as part of the condition of the committee, we would agree to add the 4 spots and on the property.
You would. So then you would remove that variance, is that correct?
That's correct. So under building permit application, we would locate those spots within the underground parking with the rest of them.
Okay.
We're just verifying that.
I'm trying to find
What are we looking for?
which variance that is.
It's variance 3.
Variance number 3. So can I confirm you've asked us to remove variance number 3? Is that correct?
That's correct, and we will then apply the 4 spots in building permit as a condition of the acceptance.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Oh, they're in the audience? Oh, Please come, okay, so you can sit down and we'll hear from a resident, I believe, and then we'll ask you to respond.
Very good.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good
My
morning.
name is Elizabeth Ann Van Gastel. I go by Betty Ann. I live at 640 Shepherd Avenue East.
Okay,
I have a few comments. First, I got a bit off track with them saying that there's bicycle parking. I'm not aware of any bicycle parking in our complex, and I've lived there since 1991, so I'd like to have that verified.
okay,
And it was supposed to be down in the garage, they're saying. However, our garage is completely full and a waiting list of 40 people for cars, approximately 40 people for cars parking. Visitor parking has been taken away, except for a small amount. But that's the one question that I have for that one. What I'd like to know, let's see here. In terms of what I saw on I'm just trying to find my notes. On the application, it says that there are some common areas being taken up by the lots. And I would like to have it explained as to what common areas are being taken up besides storage and a rental office. Because to me, the work area looks like it's actually in the buildings and outside. So I'd like to know where those are going to be.
okay.
I'd also like to know how it is, the variance that, one of the variances they're asking for is to actually put apartments on the ground floor. And from what I understand, this is currently not allowed. If it's not allowed, I'd like to know where they got permission for the two apartments in 640 and the two apartments in 644. I've lived there since 1991. I've never seen it applied for. I don't know if the application process has changed or not. They were put in first time they appeared on the rent roll was 2018. I don't believe they should be actually put in there. I don't know if this is part of what I'm allowed to talk about, because they would interfere with a lot of the common area that is currently enjoyed by the tenants outside. And all of the units will face on well-traveled public, they're by the entry to all three buildings. There is also, although it does not show it on the plans that were submitted, sorry, I've never done this before.
Okay.
The plans weren't up to date in terms of the landscaping area, seating areas that were organized by a former counselor in 2009 when we received $60K from Shane Baghide to mitigate their buildings that were put up along the east part of the property. And I think I would like an explanation, like how they're going to mitigate all of the traffic as well. Traffic as in human traffic. And the fact that 644 will be close to a garbage pickup area. 642 is right on the garbage pickup area by a sports court. And 644 is close to the garbage area as well. That's it.
Okay, that's a lot.
Sorry,
That's
but
okay. Does anyone have any questions for the resident? All right, we'll bring the applicant back and he can explain, possibly answer your questions.
thank you.
Okay? You're welcome. So we have the site plan up. Is that helpful to have the site plan, or is there something else you want to?
No, so I'd like to address some of the comments. So regarding the actual amenity areas, the common areas that are being referred to is actually a current management office. So it's not an amenity area. And so that unit itself, that space, again, will be combined into the leasing so that the two functions will happen within the same space. And that current common area, which is referred to, which is actually a management office, will be converted to a unit on the ground floor. To speak about the other units that are on the ground floor, there was a permit that was issued by the City of Toronto, I believe in around 2018, for the ground floor units. And so where this zoning comes in, I'm not sure how that happened. What we're looking to do is providing more rental units for the neighborhood so that we can house more people, as the City of Toronto is looking to do. So that's how we're trying to achieve it. Now, in terms of the site plan and the landscape amenity areas, we're not affecting any of those, and that's not part of the variances here. This is an interior alteration specifically, and we are not affecting any of the structural aspects of the building. We will be accessing those units from the exterior, similar to the units that are currently there. And so, again, the location of them in relation to where the sports courts or garbage areas are, these are the areas upon which that we have left in the building in order to create more rental housing. And so that's how we're looking at this. So in terms of the three variances that we have here, I believe we're justified in allowing the 4 extra rental units here. I think it meets the 4 tests. I believe it's minor in nature, even though they're not permitted on the ground floor. We do have an existing rental units on that ground floor that have been permitted by the City of Toronto. Again, how that ended up bypassing the zoning review previously is not part of this application. So we're looking for relief on the ground floor. We're looking for relief on the number of units because this building, as it exists, currently is over the number that is permitted on the lot. And so we're asking for relief on that. And regarding the bicycle parking spaces, we plan on finding space within the unit, within the site, sorry, in order to provide that bicycle parking spaces when we go for building permit application. So we can ask for relief on that, since the tenants generally they either keep them in their units, I think from a safety standpoint, but we are willing to provide 4 parking spaces within the site.
All right, thank you. Any questions? No? Mr. Nippo? All right. All right, thank you very much. We'll take it into committee.
Thank you.
Ms. Klein?
Madam Chair, through you. I'm taking a look at this application, and I think it's a pretty straightforward application. I mean, they're trying to create more rental housing. They're not taking away any amenities, but they're trying to consolidate the rental office and the management office into one. And I think it's a good application to approve, and I would support it by approving it.
Thank you. So that's a motion to approve?
Sure, I can move a motion to approve, but
All
I
right.
think Mr. Nipfeld has
Mr.
a
Nipfeld, yeah?
Could I offer a couple of friendly amendments? One, it's the new application as modified, because you removed the variance. And because of the questions that the resident raised about where the locations are and the fact that there are, surprisingly, I didn't know this, some ground floor units already, I'm wondering if the ground floor units might be located according to the site plans we have.
Yeah,
which
tying
are
it to the site plan.
A001 and A001 small a. Those are the two, because the site plan extends across 2 drawings.
Right. I would support that addition to the motion.
All right. Yes,
the
there is a
TTC report.
TTC report. I mean, there's no exterior alterations. It's just conversion of ground floor space. I'm not sure is their recommendation?
Madam Chair, if I may just address the TTC concern, if you look at the last page.
We're actually in committee. Do
Oh,
we wanna
so-
go out of
my
committee
apologies.
to have the applicant address that?
Sure.
All right, we'll go out of committee. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you look at the TTC, it's regarding posting of signage for the construction. When you look at the advisory comments and you scroll down to the final page, you'll see that it's looking at item number, I believe, 5
that's
and 2. So the, which are not construction related, it's about, if we look at shall provide a solicitor's undertaking, acknowledging and agreeing that about the clauses below. Since this is all interior alteration, I believe we're going to be able to satisfy that condition.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, thank you very much. We'll take it back into committee, and we'll add the TTC report conditions,
Number 5.
number 5. Story? Yes. Mr.
A-
Nifel, do you mind?
I wrote them down.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
A001 and A001 small a.
That's right.
Yes.
Substantially appoints.
All right.
It meets the 4 tests.
All right, and I believe I was asking Mr. Nipfeld to
Yes.
second the motion. Thank you very much. All in favor? That is carried. The
Thank you.
application as amended has been approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, item 4. 27 Suncrest Drive. This is an application to construct a new dwelling. The variances are for east side yard setback, lot coverage, and front yard setback. On file, we have a survey, plans, applicant's presentation, material, arborist report, and urban forestry memo. Do we have our applicant?
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning.
Last name's Bronskill, Bronskill, first initial D for David. 333 Bay Street, Suite 3400 in Toronto, here as agent for the applicant, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions, or do we want a presentation? I don't think we need a presentation, Mr. Bronskill, unless there's something you want to specifically point out to us.
No, Madam Chair, I'm happy to hear that. In some respects, at the risk of being a bit self-aggrandizing, I might be a bit overkill for this matter, but through the client and the architects, given that one of the variances impacted a site-specific exception, I was just brought in because it's a little bit different than some of the variances we typically have, but we're also pleased that there's no planning comments. There is a forestry condition, obviously, and the client has spoken with the neighbors, and there's no letters. So I'm happy to go through the presentation, obviously, Madam Chair, but I'm very pleased that it appears I'm the only one here today on this matter.
Yes, I'll just clarify. Anyone in the audience on this item? No. All right, thank you. As I lose my voice,
Last question.
Mr. Nipfeld has a question.
Thank you. Mr. Bronskill, would you have difficulty with a condition that said that the rear outdoor room, which is what is called on the plans, is to remain unenclosed?
No, sir. Through you, Madam Chair, I think you may have asked me that before on other applications. I think I may have agreed before on other applications. I understand why you're making that request, and it is a condition that would be acceptable.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? No, we're good. All right, we'll take this into committee. Mr. Nipfeld.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I think that this application is supportable. The variances are minor relative to the size of the project. I don't see any difficulties at all. There is a forestry condition number 1 and the condition that I just spoke to Mr. Bronskill about. With those conditions, I think that this is a very supportable application and clearly meets the 4 tests. I'd be happy to move a motion.
So we need to clarify what that condition is,
It has to be in your motion.
Okay, so I'd like to move, do you want me to make a motion now?
yes, please.
I'd like to move approval of the application subject to forestry condition number 1 and an additional condition that the rear outdoor room is to remain unenclosed.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Kleinfeld? All right, so we have seconder, all in favor? That is carried. The application has been approved. All right, we are on item 6. 5, sorry. Sorry. Do you want to do it now? We'll do one more. All right, we'll do number 5. 5 Glenbell Crescent. An application to construct an ancillary building, garden suite, with a second-story balcony in the rear yard. Variances are for rear yard setback to garden suite, east side yard setback to garden suite, west side yard setback to garden suite, second floor balcony setback to the west lot line, and balcony on the second floor. On file, we have a survey, plans, tree photos, 2 letters of objection from 356 and 358 Rainy Avenue, late community planning report, late letter from the owner to the objectors, and a late letter to the objectors from the applicant. All right, let's have our applicant. Are they in the audience? Are there people in the audience here on this item today? All right, thank you. Let's start with our applicant.
Yes, my name is Shahid Nanavati, 1304 Woodbine Avenue, Toronto, and I'm the agent for this application.
All right, and before we begin, do you have any changes to make to the application today?
Not really today, but I have a presentation there, so if at all you could bring it up.
Yep, we'll start with the presentation.
Yeah, unfortunately, the planning report was not put on the website, so I do not have the knowledge of that report as such. But I will yet give my presentation. So if at all the presentation could be brought up on the screen.
Maybe we should just, before we begin, let's put the late community staff report up. Just to refresh our memories.
Mm-hmm.
And for the benefit of the applicant. You said you haven't seen the report?
No, I haven't seen the report. So because it was not put on the portal. I've not seen it on the portal.
Okay, well, have a few minutes there to just review it.
Oh, okay.
And let's stop the timer.
Yeah, please go down. Yes, ma'am. I've read through it now. Thank you.
So, sorry, can we just go to the top of it again? Basically, community planning is recommending, is it removal of variance 1? Let's see it in front of me.
Right. So I'd like to go through this presentation and then whatever the wisdom of this committee rules, I will follow that.
All right. Oh, yes, okay. All right. Thank you, staff. Let's put up the presentation for the applicant and restart the clock for him.
Thank you, ma'am. We have got 2 objections over here. So we have those variances that we would request for the setbacks mainly. But if at all you go to the second page of this of the presentation, and I'll give you an understanding of the site layout as such. I'm not here to create any precedents that is for the rear setback, but this particular site of ours that we have here at 5 Glenwell Crescent, we have got two objections. One is from 356 and the other one is from 358 at the back. The current position of 356 is that we are encroaching on the privacy, which is not the case as he's far away from us, lots of vegetation in between, and we are not looking over into his lot or her lot. And even for 358, the unit is very far away. Even if the lawn at the back is open, plenty of vegetation, and it is not exactly behind the suite which we are constructing over there. The whole purpose of us giving less setback at the rear is mainly because all the many neighborhood children, especially whose parents are working in those commercial areas, including the banks as well as the Popeyes outlet that's there. Their children, they come and they play in the evening after school, and late in the evening, their parents pick them up from our backyard over there. So it's basically a safe haven for the kids. What we've done is we've taken our structure a little behind and given 5 foot of open space. Now, this 5 foot of open space, instead of the 10 that has been requested, is we find it enough. Number one, we find it that nothing is going to grow in that area because of the heavy vegetation that's there. Number two, that we are not encroaching on anybody's privacy over there. Number three is that the comments that have come from the neighbor saying that the balcony is overlooking their property. No, the balcony is at the front of the suite. It's not even, they cannot even see the balcony. So we are not encroaching on their property in any which way that comes up. And as far as the planning, the concerns that have come up over here, I saw that they're talking about the water drainage and everything. We are not reducing any vegetation around in that place. All the gradings will be done as per the required bylaws. And at the same time, we are giving more space between the two buildings so that the green space increases, the play area increases for the kids, and it is more safe over there. And I'm sorry to say, in this particular area, at the rear of our house, we have found needles and cigarette butts, which are something which we do not want the kids to even come in contact with while they are in our property, because at night, nefarious elements, they come hopping over the fence, and once in a while, we find them in the morning all passed out as well. So this particular area, we need that kind of a protection. So 5 foot over there would simply just not let many people or anybody to come over there, heavy vegetation. And I think our proposal is not there to create a precedence of 5 feet over there, but at the same time, this is, as per our site, we need this kind of a variance, and we request that from you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Questions? Is it your intent to fence the yard?
Yes, ma'am. It is already fenced, but if required and the city permits, we'll take it higher.
All right, so no questions? No? All right. Let's hear from the residents. Yes, you can come forward.
Through you, Madam Chair.
Oh, sorry, it's not for this item. That's fine. Sorry. Okay, not a problem. Is there anybody on this? No? Okay. All right, then I guess we'll be taking this into committee. Thoughts? Mr. Nipfel.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I have a bit of difficulty with the application. The intent of the garden suite was that it be subservient to the main house on the property, and in this case, I'm not sure that is true. I agree with the planning department that the proposed rear yard setback is unreasonable, and I would not support variance number 1 being approved. I also have difficulty with the whole idea of a balcony on the second level, which has a view to the, I guess it's to the west. And I question whether that is a good idea. I noticed that in the submission material, there's a privacy fence proposed along, I guess it's the west side of that balcony. But it seems to me that that just makes the whole structure look even larger. So I'm having some questions about the balcony, but clearly support the planning department's request to remove variance number 1.
All right, I agree with you, Mr. Nipfeld. I think that without those variances, they can still build a very sizable garden suite. And it has little impact on the garden suite itself or the ability to house people. I think that it's a large garden suite, and I think that the 2-story element of it does infer an impact on the neighbors. And the second story impact would be more, given if it was closer to the rear property line, to the neighbors to the, west. So I would agree with you on that. I think that the application for a garden suite is fine. It's just that the variances that are requested are a bit much. So I would support you on not approving variance 1 or 5, if you were to make a motion. All right, Ms. Klein?
I am in agreement with both of your comments. The variance close to the what is it, the
Rear yard.
the rear yard does have some concern, and if a motion is made, I would definitely second it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Neufeld, did you want to make a motion?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Yes, I'd like to approve the application as modified in the following way. I would not support and recommend refusal of, or move refusal of variance number 1 and variance number 5. Number 1 being the proposed rear yard setback, and number 5 being the proposed second floor balcony. The planning condition is already covered by removing variance number 1. The comment about frosting windows was only if variance number 1 was approved, and I believe those would be the only conditions.
All right. And there was no forestry, right?
I don't have a forestry. No.
No. Okay, just double checking. All right. So we have a motion before us. A seconder, Ms. Klein?
Yes.
All in favor of the motion? That is carried. The application as amended has been approved. All right. Do we want to take a break now, or do you want to do one more and then take a break? Just looking at the agenda, I believe item 7 is going to take some time, so let's do item 5, or 6. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my numbers today. By the end of the agenda, I'll catch on. All right, item 6, 50 Sherwood Avenue. This is an application to alter the existing semi-detached dwelling by constructing a rear second-story addition. The variances are for percentage of front yard landscaping, percentage of front yard soft landscaping, and west side yard setback. On file, we have a survey, plans, community planning report, and 4 letters of opposition. All right, and we have our applicant in front of us. Do we have anybody else in the audience on this item? No? All right, and I don't believe I have anybody online. All right, welcome, sir.
Good morning, members of committee. My name is Farzad Qazai Mutlaq. I live in 51 Apple Orchard Path, Thornhill, Ontario.
Okay, thank you.
I'm representing my friend and my partner. First, I would like to clarify that we revised the plan to address the west side yard setback variance related to the rear second story addition. This revision was made to respond to city comment and to address our neighbors' concern.
So, sorry, just to clarify, that's variance 3,
Yes,
so you're going to remove it.
yes.
All
we
right,
remove.
thank you.
Therefore, the remaining issue before the committee is the front yard landscaping and soft landscaping condition. Actually, my friend respectfully asking the committee to approve this variance so he can keep a safe, clean, a stable, and functional front yard landscape area for his family. The previous front yard condition includes grass, grade changes, and a retaining wall condition. It was not practical or safe for everyday family use, especially for older family members. The interlock creates a more stable, level, clean, and maintainable surface. It is also helps with drainage while keeping a clean landscape appearance. Before, if we look at the pictures of before, you see that there is a retaining wall beside the shared driveway. And when we drive from the ramp up to the driveway, there was no way that we can open the doors of the car. You had to go back to the backyard, and then people could come out of the car, and they had to walk all along the driveway to get to the pedestrians walkway and go around the grass area because it was higher than the street level, and then go up to the house. In winter time, it was very dangerous, very unsafe conditions, and now with this interlock area, which is small, it's not, the whole driveway is only, the whole front yard is only 3 meter to 2 meter, 2.5 meters, something like that. So, but it gives us the opportunity to drop off people, to pick up people, to to help people to go inside and outside the house easier.
Okay. Any questions? Would the owner be agreeable to permeable pavers?
There
Oh, it is
is,
proposed? Okay, didn't see that on the plan. I just saw interlock. You mean by virtue of interlock, it's permeable? You think? Okay, just double checking. All right, thank you. Any other further questions for the applicant? No? All right, we'll take it into committee. Thank you. I think that with the change that was made as recommended by planning, and the addition or the condition of permeable pavers would be a good improvement to this application, and I think that it is minor in nature and is desirable for this area.
I'm in agreement with you, Madam Chair. It is a supportable application. It's minor in nature. And I believe it meets the 4 tests. You
Can't
can't
hear
hear
you.
me?
I think your mic needs to be a little closer to, yeah.
Here? Okay, better. I think my chair also is giving me some issues, but I'll change that during the break. It's minor in nature and meets the 4 tests with the removal of that variance 3, and I would support it. I could make a motion. If Mr. Nitfeld has any comments, I would hear those first, but I'll be prepared to make. You okay? Okay.
All right,
So I'll make a motion to approve this, application as amended to remove variance number 3, and to add the permeable pavers if that is also a requirement.
Sorry, Madam Chair, I didn't mean to interrupt the motion. Can you just be a little more specific where the permeable pavers should go?
in the driveway, in the front,
In the-
front
In
yard
the front,
driveway.
in the front yard driveway, the permeable pavers in the
The
front
portion
yard
of the driveway in the front yard, is that better? Okay,
driveway. Okay,
all right, thank you very much. Mr. Nipfeld, are you seconding that motion? Thank you. So all in favor? All right, that has been approved as amended. All right, thank you. Okay, we are going to take a 10-minute break before item 7. All right, we are back. Are we good over there? Okay. Item 7, 18 Glenborough Park Crescent. Oh, it wasn't on? Okay, this is an application to construct a two-story garden suite in the backyard. Variances are for separation between main building and garden suite, height of a garden suite, and GFA of a garden suite. On file, we have a previous decision from February 2019, survey plans, cover letter, planning rationale, arborist report, urban forestry memo, letter of objection from 21 Glenborough Park Crescent, and a petition of objection from 24 neighbors, a late letter of support from 12 Glenborough Park Crescent. Let's have our applicant first. Welcome.
Morning, Madam Chair. Let me just get my notes here.
Oh, that was the late. I'm sorry, I
Okay.
forgot to mention there was a late planning report, I believe. All right, let's start with your name and address first.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Greg Ewens from Patori Planning and Management, agent for the owner. Address 1550 Kingston Road, Suite 1345, Box 4. We're here today. Oh, I have a presentation. I think
And
staff.
before we start, do you have any changes to make to the application?
There is one, and it's noted in the staff report, and this is a result of recent discussions that we had with staff in the last couple of days, and we're supportive of this recommendation. There was some back and forth, and this is the result. So,
So could we just state for the record what the changes to variance 3? Is that correct?
yes, the change to variance 3 is to reduce the GFA request from 139 square meters down to 131 square meters,
All
as
right.
noted in the staff report.
Thank you. And could we have the presentation, staff?
Thank you. Okay. There's a version with a green background. I don't know. Maybe it didn't get through the formatting on the website. I'm not sure if staff have that, but I'll start. Okay. So we're here today requesting 3 variances for a new garden suite. The subject site shown here, it's a corner lot. The surrounding context is predominantly characterized by low-rise buildings. Once you get down to Finch Avenue, which is just to the south there, you have a number of bus stops, all of which connect to the Line 1 subway eventually, and you have some townhouses and mid-rise buildings as well. Next slide, please. The street itself, you can see here, has a mix of low-rise housing, a variety of styles, some older stock buildings, some newer buildings from recent years. Next slide, please. Finch Avenue has also been the subject of development. You can see here the site is in a neighborhood area just north of mixed-use corridor along Finch. It's also zoned RD, residential detached. The zone permits detached buildings, multiplexes, up to 4 units, garden suites, laneway suites. Next slide, please. Here are some of the mid-rise buildings I mentioned on Finch. It's an area, it's an evolving area, and it's a desirable community, and we certainly understand why people want to live here, and that's why we're proposing an additional unit today. Next slide, please. So this is the current development on site. Next slide. There's a 4-plex that's being constructed on site right now. This is entirely as of right, in accordance with the bylaw. We was having a conversation with some of the neighbors just before the item came on, and we were chatting about notice requirements, and they may speak about that in their deputation, and I'm happy to respond regarding this specific building. This contains all 3-bedroom units. There are 5 parking spaces on site. There is a parking space for each unit. Is a real deliberate intent to provide family size 3-bedroom dwellings across the site, including within the garden suite. Next slide, please. And next one after that. This is the proposed garden suite. It's a 2-story suite. It's 4.9 meters, less than the 6.3 meters you commonly have for 2-story suites. It includes one 3-bedroom unit. There's 2 bike parking spaces, and all of our setbacks, save for the separation distance, meet the bylaw requirements, and our soft landscape provision exceeds the bylaw requirements. Next slide, please. If we can scroll through these here, these are the building elevations, front elevation, rear elevation. The side elevations, there are no windows facing south and facing north. Next slide, please. Next slide. You can see the layout here. It's a good 3-bedroom layout, livable space. It was one of the intents. It's really all we work with this client on is 2 and 3 bedroom units. And you can see the next slide there. This is an example of a garden suite that was built by the same client in Parkdale, and high quality units intended for long-term occupants. Next slide, please. Next slide. The requested variances, we have 3 variances. One is a GFA variance. If you can go, next slide, please. It results from the intent to provide a good livable 3-bedroom unit. We met with staff on this application, and while they noted they had no concerns about the other 2 variances, they had asked us to reduce the size of the GFA, and with the caveat that they didn't want us to remove the 3rd bedroom. So we reduced it as much as we could without sacrificing the 3rd bedroom, which was a priority for staff and for us. The reason the 120 square meter limit is in the bylaw, and this is from an explanatory note in the city's draft amendment to the garden suite bylaw, is so that the suites don't dominate the rear yard, that they clearly are secondary to the main residential building, and that they preserve important landscaping and other natural features. And the next slide, please. You can see that the suite, actually, well, I'll talk about this for a sec, but the suite is smaller than the main building in terms of height, area, size. It's also the smallest unit within all of the units on the site, and it preserves all the landscape features on site. There are no trees proposed to be removed. We're protecting all boundary trees on the adjacent lots that provide privacy. Next slide, please. The maximum height of the building, you can see here it's a 2-story building, but it's only 4.9 meters compared to the 6.9 meters commonly, or 6.3 meters commonly permitted for a garden suite. Next slide, please. What we've done is, and this is the separation distance variance, a 4-meter tall suite is required to be 4 meters from the main house. We've increased that to 5.3 meters, and we've added a bit of that space on top of the building. So it still falls within an angular plane as measured from the house, and it's less impactful than an as-of-right building on the site, which could be 7.5 meters back from the main house and 6.3 meters tall. That would have a detrimental impact on the unit. It would probably result in a 2-bedroom unit as opposed to a 3-bedroom unit, so we wanted to keep this one shorter than the overall height for a 2-bedroom in order, or for a 2-story suite, in order to provide those 3 bedrooms and limit impacts. But doing that results in these 2 variances, to height and to the separation distance, which are linked, but proportionally they reflect the intent of the bylaw. Next slide, please. And I'll summarize because I realize I'm at time. This is an area that's well situated in terms of transit, parks, community facilities, services. It's an area where, as I said, where people certainly want to live, and I can understand why. We've designed this in consultation with the city. We've made changes in consultation with the city, and they're reflected in the staff report, which offers no objections. Similarly, Urban Forestry report offers no objections. They have a condition, which we're totally fine with, but we actually don't require any injury to trees, so that's no problem at all. And I submit that this 3-bedroom dwelling unit responds to the area context in the city's policy framework for garden suites and infill neighborhood housing in a sensitive, contextually appropriate way. The requested variances meet the 4 tests and constitute good planning. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? No? All right, thank you. We'll hear from the residents next.
Thank you.
All right. Now you can come forward.
Good morning, Madam Chair and the Committee of Adjustments. My name is Karen Lobo. I'm the resident of 29 Glenborough Park Crescent. We had submitted to the committee earlier a petition with a signature drive of 24 signatures by the neighborhood. 2 of our neighbor, one neighbor, two people, they were out of country, and we now have an updated one with 26 signatures. Would you like to receive it right now?
No, we're not able to
Okay.
receive it right now, but it's noted. Thank
Okay.
you.
So that neighbor is the one on 11 Glenborough Park Crescent, right opposite 18 Glenborough Park Crescent on the site. Okay. Now, we do understand that the committee says that these are minor variances, but we beg to differ. They are not minor variances. For bylaw number 569213, it is actually a major variance. it's 28% less. Okay, the separation distance from the house and the garden suite is 28.4% less actually. So from 7.5 meters from the main wall to 5.37 meters, that is a major variance. It is not a minor variance. The second difference is the height. That is 22.5% more. Okay, so from it being 7.5 meters, the lot, from 4 meters, it is now 4.9 meters. That is a 22.5% more variance. That is not minor, please, that is major. The same thing for the gross floor, for the gross floor area, that is 14.5% more. That is not minor, Madam Chair, that we consider to be major. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing is that the density on the property for that area is very high. They are proposing to have 4 residential units over there, plus another residential unit, 5 residential units on a property of that size. That is rather large. Density of that on that property is too high, with too many buildings on such a small property. I understand that for North York, it is a large property. It's at least 60 by 125, which is large by Toronto standards. By North York, it is normal. But for the density on that property, that is extremely high. It's not in keeping with the character of the neighborhood. We have 1 residence on each property so far in the neighborhood. It is certainly not in keeping with the character of that neighborhood. Okay. And he did say that he's in keeping with the tree cover on that property. They have destroyed all the trees. The trees are gone because they put up the 4-plex. So right now there are no trees on the property. So as I heard him say that, fine, he's going to be putting up more trees, that's fine. We're in agreement with that. We would like our tree cover back on that street. Okay, just trying to see. The neighborhood is opposed to this, Madam Chair. It is too many people in such a small property. The variances are not minor, they are major. And as per the notice that we received, we said that it is the role of the committee is to approve such variances, and the committee must be satisfied that the variances requested are minor. Our point is it's not minor, they're major. On that point, we request respectfully that the committee deny the application.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the resident? No? All right, thank you very much. I believe we have some people
Yes,
online.
yes. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I
Hello.
can.
Yeah, good. Yeah, this is Yana, and good morning, member of the committee. My name is Yana, and also I live in this neighbor. I'm here to object the application.
Can we
Can
have
you
your
hear me?
address? Yes, we can hear you.
28 Glenbrook Park.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, because our crescent, specifically our crescent is like a low density neighborhood with mostly like detached homes, and we have a good spacing between the house, and we have like a private backyard. And so the privacy is and open space is really important to how we live. But right now, this property actually is already quite different because it's being built like a 4-unit townhouse. It's already feel like the development for this crescent. So, and also it's only one like it in the neighbor right now. So on top of that, like they proposing garden suite as well. It's like, adding even more building on the side. That's already very intensive. So my main concern is because my house is also like a rebuilt house. Their house is over, even like higher than us. right now it's like directing, overlooking my home, like just a side of this development, and our side window directly face the 4-unit townhouse. It's not just on one unit, it's 8 windows, 4 back doors, like look toward our property. So we already actually have a clear sign line into our windows and outdoor space. If another building is added and there's a separation distance is reduced even more, the privacy impact will become like more worse for us on the daily basis, actually. And also like from the planning point of view, this is not minor, be honestly. Yes, the proposal reduce the separation distance, increasing the height and increasing the total floor area. Like taken together, it's clearly at like overdevelopment. So and also I am concerned because that approving this could set the precedent for further overdevelopment in the neighborhood, especially on lots that are already more intensive than their surroundings. From the like day-to-day living point of view, this means less privacy, more direct view into our home, and more close in the feeling overall for families. It's also like reduced usable outdoor spacing for children, right? So overall, I feel like this is feeling too intensive for neighborhood and that does not fit the surrounding homes. Yeah, I am respectful asking the committee to refuse this application. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions? No? All right. Next resident.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, this is Elham Gederian, the owner of 25 Glenbrook Park Crescent.
Welcome.
Okay, I believe the scale and character of development on the property, on the said property, and currently 4-unit townhomes that has been significantly taller than the other neighborhood is not compatible with the community, nor considered a minor variances. Furthermore, the garden suite will overflow of the lot that would impact the stability of our neighborhood and altogether have a very negative effect on surrounding properties. And based on all above and whatever our neighbors mentioned earlier today, and in respect to all required, like excessive height, excessive GFA, etc., I respectfully request to refuse the application.
All right, thank you. Any questions? No, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is there anybody else? No, that's it. All right, no one else in the audience. All right. Let's have the applicant back to address the comments. And I probably should have clarified at the beginning that this city council passed approval for multiplexes and garden suites on all lots. So we are not here to debate whether this form of housing is appropriate for this area. It is permitted. It's a matter of the variances that are sought today to support the garden suite in this location. So just to clarify that. So let's have our applicant address the comments that have been raised.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I appreciate the opportunity to hear from neighbors further through the hearing process and the opportunity to speak with some of the adjacent neighbors who are here today about matters that they discussed and a number of others. It's good to connect. I think that's valuable. I just want to note, and I didn't mention this in my presentation, we do have letters of support from both immediately adjacent neighbors, 12 and 26. There's 2 letters in that one submission. So those are important in that they are the directly facing neighbors to the west and the south of this corner lot. So 12, and then if you scroll further down, there's 26. There was a comment on the test for minor. In my view, and I think the city's view, the test for minor is not strictly a numerical exercise. It has to consider context. And in this area, we have a large lot. We are able to accommodate a suite on it that doesn't trigger any coverage, any building footprint, any side or rear yard setback, any landscape variances. While there was a bunch of concerns registered about the multiplex, I note that that was an as-of-right development. Proportionality, I think, is intended in the consideration of variances, and that's what we're trying to achieve here, specifically with the height versus the separation distance. A little bit closer, but a little bit lower as well to get at the concerns related to privacy. The second speaker noted privacy concerns. They're located 2 houses to the west. If you go to page 16 of my presentation, you'll see the west-facing wall of the garden suites. And the windows on the second story have been deliberately located below the as-of-right height for a 2-story building. You can see it on the, yeah, so they, there's a diagram on page 16, I believe. But in any event, the point is, the windows are the same, there we go. The windows are at the same height they would be as if it was an as-of-right condition. I would suggest that if we built a 6.3 meter tall garden suite with a greater separation distance, the privacy issues that the neighbor to the west was concerned about would actually be exacerbated because you would have windows that are taller and above the 4 meter height limit. I also note that the neighbor who spoke last is immediately north of the site across the street. I don't think they'll have a view of the garden suite, so I don't know that we can do anything further to ameliorate privacy issues from there. Regarding trees, and this is an important thing that came up, the fourplex was constructed. There were no bylaw protected trees removed. As part of that, there were tree protection zones required. My client worked with urban forestry to make sure that was the case, because there are a number of boundary trees that actually help protect privacy to the west. Any of the vegetation that was removed from the site were trees that are not protected under the bylaw or things that don't cross the 20 dBH threshold. The neighborhood context. The official plan talks about the existing and planned context, and it states that in instances where the existing and planned context disagree with each other, where you have an existing condition that is primarily low-rise detached houses, for instance, and a garden suite and a multiplex are being introduced, or the multiplex is being built, the planned context, which, Madam Chair, as you noted, is a garden suite and a multiplex being permitted on the site. The planned context prevails in instances where the existing context and the planned context are different. And so I would submit that it is consistent with the evolving context as council has adopted. And I'll leave, if you can go one more slide down, please. One more. I just want to end on the point that what we really tried to do here is create something that falls under the angular plane for a garden suite, which is no longer in the bylaw because the province removed it, but the intent of the bylaw was always to maintain proportionality between separation distance to the main building and the height of the suite, which we do here, and you can see that. I think a taller suite, which we may be able to build as of right, would be more impactful than what we're proposing here, and so we felt it was better in terms of the context to request these limited variances, which staff and forestry support and the immediately adjacent neighbors support, than propose something as of right, which would be a worse condition and not deliver a 3-bedroom unit. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the applicant? No? All right, thank you very much. We'll take it into committee.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Nipfeld, did you want to start?
Certainly. I appreciate the concerns of the neighbors, but what I heard were primarily concerns against the multiplex, which is an as-of-right form of development that's under construction. So that what we're focused on today are 3 rather minor variances to allow for the garden suite that's before us. The 2 issues of the garden suite that might normally give me pause are the elevation treatment of the west elevation because there are windows and a doorway on it. And then one would argue that there would be some movement back and forth on the daily activities of the garden suite. That would impact the 2 neighbors that are in support of the application, numbers 12 and 26, and I gather they don't have any difficulties. If you look at the existing site conditions, you can see why, and it's because the garden suite is separated by, in one case, there's a garage and then a rear yard, and in the other one, a driveway and a rear yard. So I think that the most adjacent neighbors to the garden suite are not really impacted. The height, I think, is modest, and I'm heartened by the applicant's determination to use garden or angular plane to determine its appropriateness. I think that is a good approach and one that I clearly would support. I also support the planning department's modification that is suggested that variance number 3, gross floor area be adjusted to 131 meters square. All things considered, Madam Chair, what I heard was a concern with the development on whole site, most primarily the multiplex. That's not before us. What's before us is the garden suite, and I personally don't have difficulty supporting it, and I clearly feel, as the applicant had suggested, that it meets the 4 tests.
Thank you, Mr. Nipfeld. I know that initially when I read the variances for this application, I kind of was a bit alarmed with the height because that's always a sensitive issue, I think, for incorporating garden suites into neighborhoods. And I understand the concerns from the neighbors. It's a very big change to have multiplexes and garden suites introduced to a traditional single-family detached neighborhood, especially like these that have been around for many years. But I do see the benefits of the location of this building, and in addition to the multiplex, I think it provides opportunities for housing that's close to transit. It's well located, and I do believe, as Mr. Nipfeld said, that the applicant has been sensitive to the design for this garden suite, and the fact that it's on a corner lot, I think it has less impact to the overall neighborhood. And again, the neighbors in agreement on either side of it is a good thing. And as well, planning didn't have a concern with anything else of the application other than the GFA, which the applicant has amended. So for all those reasons, I think that it is appropriate in this location, and I believe that it does meet the 4 tests for a minor variance. All right. Anything to add, Ms. Klein, or are we good?
You are good. I concur with you both.
Okay, thanks very much. All right, would someone like to make a motion? Mr. Nipfeld?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'd like to move approval of the application as modified with the gross floor area to be 131 meters squared and
Forestry? 2?
yeah, I don't have the number down. Is it
It's
forestry
2. Yeah.
Subject to forestry condition number 2. And as I indicated in my earlier remarks, I think it clearly meets the 4 tests. And it's been not opposed by the adjacent neighbors.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Klein?
I second that.
Thank you very much. All in favor? That is carried. The application has been approved. Welcome. All right, item number 8, 121 St. Leonard's Avenue. This is an application to alter the existing 2-story detached dwelling by adding a rear 2nd-story addition and a new rear deck. We have variances for rear deck setback to east lot line, rear deck projection above ground, floor space index, and east side yard setback. On file, we have a survey, plans, photos, community planning report, and 2 letters of objection from 146 and 158 Dawlish Avenue. All right, and our applicant's in front of us.
Good
Welcome.
afternoon, Madam Chair and members of committee. My name is Ken Tai from Tai Architect. I'm the architect represent the owners of the 121 St. Leonard's Avenue. My address is 400 Esna Park Drive, Unit 3, Markham. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience on this? Only one other person here, so. All right, and there's nobody online, correct? But we have received letters of objection and, first of all, any changes to make to the application?
Yes, I would like to request a minor clerical amendment for the item number 1 and 4 for the
Okay.
public notice, with slight typo errors regarding our proposal east side yard setback. The notice currently read 0.7 meters, but accurately match the physical footprint of the existing building. The request variance should be 0.57 meters. So we ask the committee to amend the application.
We can't do that, can we? So it's less than,
It's less, yeah.
yeah, we can't entertain changes to the variances that are less than at the committee meeting. So, yeah, that makes it worse. If you were improving the situation, that would be another thing. What was the other one?
It's the same. Is
Oh,
one
so
is the
this is
building, is the deck. Yeah.
Is this an existing?
It's existing wall, so it's just a numerical.
So variance number 4, the east side yard setback is for the,
Proposed deck. Oh, sorry.
yeah, it's for the existing house. Is that
House.
that setback? Is that what you're saying?
The number 4 is
At
for the
point.
deck, and number 1 is for where the proposed additions matching the existing building. Yeah. So the existing building is actually 0.57, but
Not 0.7. And
Not
on the site
0.7.
plan, what does it show?
the site plan, I make an error on that corner, it's showing 0.7, but on the north corner is actually 0.56. The survey is actually 0.57 at the lower corner. Yeah. So,
All right. No.
so we're not changing the design. We're not changing anything. Yeah.
It's unfortunate. It's the notice that is, we notified the public at 0.7. So you're making it worse basically by, even though that's existing. So we're not able to deal with that today. I think you'd have to propose a deferral of the application and bring it back and
Okay.
correct the information. I think that's the only option. Have you done a zoning review?
We done a zoning review, and the last meeting we catch the error, and the zoning examiner yesterday also released the new zoning notice to us is 0.57.
0.57, okay. All right, well, I guess we are looking at a deferral for now, and it'll give you time to fix that. I don't know whether you're able to address the letters of objection from the neighbors. I don't think they had a concern with that, but I'm not sure.
The concerning about the water management,
Oh, yes, that's right, I did read that, because they're in the rear,
the rear.
yeah. It might be worth reaching out to them in the interim and just explaining how you're
We
not
actually
allowed
have
to-
more support by our direct neighbors.
Okay, well then you can
19119 and
submit that
143.
with
Yep.
the revised information. Okay, so does somebody, so you're in agreement to deferring it?
I
it's
think
like
there's no
defer-
choice.
Yeah, you don't have a choice, we don't have a choice,
Yeah.
so, all right,
Okay, I accept the deferral.
okay. Would someone like to, Ms. Klein?
I'll move a motion to defer this application so that the amendments to the application can be made and to bring it back at another date.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Nipfeld, you second that? All in favor? All right, the application will be deferred.
Thank
Sorry
you, Madam
about
Chair
that.
and committee. Thank you.
Okay. All right, item 9, 7 Palomar Road. A lot of second-story additions. To construct a second-story addition over existing this is over a garden suite. So this is the addition of a second story over an existing one-story garden suite. Variances are for rear yard setback, south side yard setback, eve encroachment into rear yard setback, and distance to the rear lot line. On file, we have a survey, plans, and site photos. All right, our applicant is online.
Hi, yes. Tariq here.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
With your name and address, please.
Madam Chair and committee members, thank you very much. My name is Tariq Afridi at 3742 Forest Bluff Crescent, Mississauga, designer and agent representing the owners of 7 Palomar Road.
All right. I don't think we have anybody here on this item, so do we have any questions for the applicant? Mr. Nipfel?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Could you clarify the existing use of the building that we're dealing with today? it doesn't look like it's a garage. Is it currently a dwelling?
So it's currently being used as a storage shed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
No worries.
Okay. So that accounts for the 2 doors that we see in the photo? Like, it looks like there's 2 man doors into the,
That's the existing.
yeah.
There's 2 doors. But in the proposed, it's all been, like the interior is being demolished and new layout is in place, proposed.
All right. We got it?
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
I had one more question.
Yes,
I'm
Mr.
sorry, I
Nipfeld, go
forgot to
ahead.
ask at the same time. Have you had consultation with the neighbors to the north, south, and east? Because they're impacted by your variances, and I'm wondering what their views are.
Yeah, so they are supportive of the application and they don't have any concerns.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So all the variances are basically because the building is existing and you're proposing to put a second floor on top that would have the same.
That's correct.
Okay, just double checking. All right, thank you. Any other questions? No? All right, let's take it into committee. All right, Mr. Nipfeld?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I was a little concerned with some of the variances, but as it's an existing condition and the neighbors have had an opportunity to live with the existing footprint and they haven't raised objections, I don't, and the concerns I had were relatively minor. I don't have any difficulty with this. I think it's a very straightforward application. The variances requested are reasonable, and I'm very pleased to hear that the neighbors are supportive. I'm supportive of the application, and I'd be pleased to move a motion of approval.
And you believe it meets the 4 tests?
Yeah, it clearly meets the 4 tests, yes.
All right, I agree. All right, seconder?
I
Ms. Klein?
second that.
Thank you. All in favor? That is carried. Okay, item 10. (205) Burbank Drive. This is to legalize and maintain the existing rear decks. The variances are for ground floor deck encroachment into TRCA stable top of bank, ground floor deck encroachment below stable top of bank, ground floor deck encroachment into required south side yard, and lot coverage. On file, we have minutes from December 2023, survey, plans, presentation, photos, 2 letters of support from 207 and 203 Burbank, ravine and natural features protection memo, TRCA memo, community planning report, and a letter of objection from 27 Canary Crescent. Previous package from December 7th, 2023. Do we have our applicant?
Yes, it's me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's Peter Chen. I'm owner of 205 Burbank Drive.
Okay. And any changes to make to the application?
No.
All right, thank you. There is.
Do I need to explain some situation or no?
Yes, actually, we would.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to? Okay. Well, basically, I'm doing renovation. Okay, the house has been around since 1962, and I'm replacing 97% pre-existing structure. The deck was there. The bungalow was it all came when the house was built, basically, and it was unattended for 25 years, so it was kind of rotten. And you can see by the picture, number 2, 3, and 4 is crumbling down, basically, and the front of this house and the rear of the house is like 12, 15 feet different on height. So in order for me, I have 3 side door on the side and 2 rear door on the back. And in order for me to go to those doors, I need balcony, or they call it deck, okay? And all the houses in that area built on the slope has a balcony and a deck. They can walk into the side door. And 201, 203, 207, 197, they all have a balcony. They walk to the side door. And the balcony was built when the house was built. It was supported by I-beam from the building, 20 feet long, forming the structure of the balcony. So it came with the house when it was built. And my lot is a pie shape. So it's 58 at the front and 60 at the back. And that's the condition I'm facing now. And Sony gave me 5 variants. And 4 are TRC related. And TRC approved that already. And number 1 and number 4 are basically the same thing. Because my house is a pie shape, from the front corner to the side lot is 1.33 meters, and at the back is 1.99 meters. So the zoning requirement 1.84 setback. I don't have 1.84 distance basically, and my block is only 1.2 meters in width, and I can encroach 1.5 meters. However, I need a setback of 0.3 meters setback from the lot line. At the first 6 feet, I only have 0.15 meters. When I pass the 6 feet, I have more than 0.3 meters setback. Enough. And the item 2 and 3 on the variance is approved by TRC already. And it's a deck by the ravine. It was always there, and I'm just replacing it. And actually, the deck is smaller, basically. The deck is smaller than before. The only thing that's different before and now is I want to connect the 2 balconies together so that I can get to the back door, which is the bigger opening down the road. And it's only 2 square meters connection in there. And I got support from TO3 and TO7 for the connection. As far as the coverage concerned, my survey guy told me this total lot area is 704 meters, whereas the zoning got 6.69. So in fact, I'm only 34.21 versus what they claim is 36. They claim zoning claim is 36 or 37%, but with my survey number, it is only 34.21 square meters. And I guess that's all
Okay.
I just wait for a question, yes.
Yes.
It's
Mr.
my first time I don't know how to do it. Okay?
Just want
It's
to
my
make-
first time I don't know how to do it. Okay? I'm new to all these, yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Just want to make sure the applicant is aware of the staff report.
Yes, you've seen the staff report.
We can just
on
throw
this?
that up.
Yes, and I talked to staff report Irvin. He said I have 1.46 encroachment onto the side lot. My bulk is only 1.2 meters. That 1.64 encroachment is based on, they assume I have 1.8 meters setback, and they take away the 0.5 meters off the 1.8. So they give me 1.64 encroachment, but I don't have. My deck, my bulk is only 1.2 meters, basically. And the front is only 1.33 meters in width from my house to the lot line at the corner. But once I pass the 6 feet beyond, I have enough 0.3 meters setback. It's just because it's a pie shape. And at the back, I have more than that.
Okay. Is there a plan that shows which part is new as opposed to which part is replacement? Like, is it, I'm just having a bit of trouble following it all. I know that you are proposing to connect the 2 decks, but
The only, sorry,
Is
I'm
there,
listening, yes.
what is the best plan to show? Yeah. I don't know if that's gonna help, but maybe. Yes.
The only difference is the connection. That's all.
But the connection to the, oh, there's
The
no
two
bal-
balcony at the corner.
in the corner at the
Yes.
back.
On the balcony, yes.
So on the plan we're looking at right now, the site plan?
Yes.
Originally, the balcony did not connect all the way.
It's not connected, no.
Okay.
It's not connected, no.
And you said you're adding 2 square meters? Is that correct?
Yes, is I have to calculate it is
Give or take.
1.92 square meters.
Sorry?
1.92 square meters.
Is it required to connect the balconies? Okay, and you have letters of support from neighbors on either side?
Because she's the one that really affects my
Yeah.
connection there.
Yeah. Okay. I had another question, but I can't remember it. Does anyone else have a question? Mr. Nipfeld?
I have a couple of questions. Can we go back to the site plan for a second? Can you explain to me, before they were connected, where was the break between the patio or the balcony goes along 2 sides of your house, right? Did it always?
The reason, sorry.
No, just
the reason is for,
did it always go along 2 sides of the house?
yes,
And so what wasn't, you said it wasn't connected. What wasn't connected?
the corner.
The back and the side were not connected. That's the way I understood it.
So was there, you couldn't walk from one to the other, is that correct?
No, yes. Before,
Okay.
yes, no.
Okay, and there's also, can you go back to the site plan again, please? There's also I wouldn't call it a deck, but there's also a wooden, I guess it is, a platform that connects to the lower grade deck, right? Because it's in bad repair as well.
You talk about the deck by the ravine, right?
Yeah, there's a walkway that connects the house to that
Yes,
rear.
yes,
rear-
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
When you talk to the planning department, because we have a fairly clear report from planning recommending refusal of the application, it was before this committee in 2023, and it was deferred specifically for you to consult with the planning department. And you're now back here, and planning department is still recommending refusal. In your presentation, did I understand you to question the numbers that the planning department was using?
Well, back in 2023, in the very beginning, December, they said that I need 1.8 meters setback from the lot line, and I don't have that. Okay. Now, at that time, I don't know much about it. Okay, I study it, and I found out that I don't even have 1.8 meters from the building to the lot line. So I am not encroaching 1.8 meters onto the lot line. So I talked to Sony, and Sony clarified that, because you don't have 1.8 meters setback, they just assume you have 1.8 meter setback distance, and they subtract what you off by setback, which is 0.15, at the front, which is 0.15. So 1.8 meters minus 0.15 is 1.64 encroachment. But my bulk is only 1.2 meters. If you look at one of the picture I sent you guys from Sony, they give it to me, how they show the 1.64 encroachment. So planning knows about this, and they said to me, they only goes by numbers, okay? So it's me to explain to COA what the situation is.
But they still left a report, with us that recommended we refuse this.
What they say, they still, from what planning told me, they're pretty administrative, and it
I'm
goes
sorry-
by
I'm
the
sorry,
numbers.
Could you speak a little slower? I'm having trouble understanding you.
Okay.
Just a little slower?
Okay. No. Planning told me they're pretty administrative. They take whatever zone they give them and they respond to it. And the number is 1.64. And so they take the measurement is correct, 1.64. And it's up to me to explain to COA about how they get to this 1.64. And I show a copy from Sony in my package to you guys, and how they measure the 1.64 is from inside my garage to the lot line.
Yes.
If you can pull out that copy, I think it's in one of the package.
So just to clarify, that side yard setback from the inside of your garage to the property line is...
Yeah. Can you? Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, it's, I meant to calculate it. So it was 1.8 is the bylaw requirement, but your building is not 1.8 from the property line, correct?
Partially correct. I should put it this way.
Sorry?
1.8 meter setback is requirement, but one of the bylaw. But there's another bylaw said that I can encroach on the side 1.5 meters,
Oh,
but I need to give 0.3 meter setback from the lot line. At the front of my house, my balcony is only 1.2 meters, not 1.5 meters, because it's 1.33 meters from a garage to the lot line. It's only 1.33. 1.33 minus 1.25, I can only give 0.15 setback from a lot line at the very beginning. But once I pass the 6 feet beyond, because it's a pie shape, I have 0.3. I can satisfy that bylaw requirement is I can encroach 1.5, I only encroach 1.2, and I do have a setback of 0.3 meters. Once I pass the 6 feet, because it's a pie shape. I was wondering, can you, I submit a copy on a page from zoning showing the measurement of 1.64 in the package. Do you have the copy?
okay. Variance 4. Let's just reacquaint ourselves. South side portion of the ground deck encroaches 1.64. Okay. 0.15. All right.
If you can look for that drawing, you give you a very good picture why zoning is that, and it's very unfair to me because like I don't even have 1.64 on my balcony. It's only 1.2 meters.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Are we still contemplating?
Sorry, madam.
Yes.
I would request you can show the other member the copy I sent to you guys showing 1.64 meter variance I have in there, because that will give you a very good picture on. You can see why it is not justified. Put it this way.
Which drawing is that?
From zoning, I submit to COA.
Do we have that? Staff?
Go to the supplement.
Oh, that's it. There's no drawing though. It's just text.
No, it's not on this one. On the supplement, on the picture. I think it's on the picture. On the picture file. Yeah, you can go down, see if you can find anything.
That one?
No.
Sorry, what's it a picture of? The side yard?
It's a drawing from. No, it's not a picture. It's a drawing from zoning. Showing us 1.64, how they calculate 1.64 encroachment, which I don't have. No. It was on the supplement document. yeah, I think you missed. I think it was just here. This one. No, that's not the one. No, no, that's not the one. No, no, this is from previous. No, it's not in this file.
Mhm.
They start measuring that 1.6 from this inside my garage. No, not this file. It was there. I saw it all the time.
Oh, is it this one? Staff,
No, no, no.
I'm, what is it, page 301 of the agenda? Can you pull that up?
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, I only have 1.2 meters on my balcony. Okay. And they say I encroach one. They assume I have 1.8 meters from my garage inside my garage to the lot line, and they minus my setback 0.15 meters at the very corner, and they say I encroach 1.64 onto the side.
Into the side yard. Sorry, can
Yeah,
you just
because
staff-
like
can you just zoom out a little bit? I just want to read what's in that green box. Oh, that's it. Oh, shoot. Yeah,
okay,
I see that.
so it's not really.
So you're meeting.
How should I put it?
You're meeting the side yard for the building, for portion of your building on the side yard. You're just not meeting it for the deck.
How do you mean?
Okay, I think we understand. You understand it, Carl?
Yeah.
We're good?
Now.
It was kind of strange to measure it, how they measure my encroachment. But the thing is, I spoke to them and I explained to planning too, right? But they said, well, this is how they measure it and this is what we go by.
Okay. Yeah, it's
So basically, a portion is inside my garage, basically.
Yep. Go ahead, Ms. Klein.
This picture here that we're looking at with your setbacks from in the garage, it seems to be a cropped picture of something. What?
It's from zoning.
It's from zoning.
Yeah, it's from Tony, yeah.
Okay. All right. I just.
Well, sorry.
Is
I
there-
was scratching my head. I don't know why I have 1.64 meters because my boy is only 1.2. So it takes me a long time to find out this is what it is.
It's a weird way of.
Has the neighbor that's impacted by that setback raised any objections to you?
I beg your pardon?
They're in the.
No, my neighbor has no objection. 2 or 3, no objection.
Okay, thanks.
All right, I think we're okay to go into committee now. I think we have enough information. Yeah? All right, let's go into committee. Thank you. Okay, so I'm having deja vu from 3 years, almost 3 years, 2.5 years ago. But I remember it was very confusing 2.5 years ago, and I don't think the application, sorry? Yeah, but I don't think they had any issues. Yeah, that must be in the front yard. It's a city-owned tree, right? All right. I'm struggling with the staff report because the staff report says that that it doesn't reflect the prevailing building type and physical character. The deck was there. It predates, it's been there for a long time, as is the walkway down to the lower deck adjacent to the ravine. And so I find it hard to believe that it doesn't reflect the character of the neighborhood when presumably these lots along this ravine portion must have some sort of, well, not necessarily have a balcony, but they probably all have decks of some sort. And in terms of impact, I'm not really seeing the impact to neighbors or it unstabilizing the character of the neighborhood by permitting something that's already was there, just in a state of disrepair. So I really, really struggle with it. And I believe TRCA is fine with the setbacks. Ravine just has the protection for the city, the trees, I think, in the front. I don't see a concern with this. It's confusing, and, you know, maybe a diagram that showed the new part of the deck. I believe it's just connecting the deck on the south and, is it west side, the rear? Is the rear, one moment, it'd be helpful if people put north directions on all their plans. West. So where the side deck runs along the south side of the house, and then it connects, he's proposing to connect it to the deck on the back of the dwelling, which is, I believe, the west. Oh, sorry, east, yes, you're right, it is east. Anyway, so I believe it's if I understand it correctly, it's the connection of the two decks. Don't see a big impact from doing that. It's not a huge deck in terms of depth anyway. It's a long deck, but anyway, I am struggling to see what staff's concern with it is. It just, the coverage, okay, but again, it's already there. So it's a big lot. And I think that I don't think that it is contrary to the official plan or the zoning, other than the variances are required. So that's how I feel right now. I think basically the fact that it is existing, it's an existing condition, and it's not new. Do you have thoughts, Mr. Nipfeld?
Yeah, I'm having the same problem you are. It seems when it was originally dealt with and deferred, there were issues with TRCA, and they've been resolved. And TRCA's only comment this time is that there's a permit required, which is standard. It's very difficult to understand the issues here. It's not the best of drawings, but the argument from planning is the reduced side yard setback in conjunction with the excessive lot coverage do not respect or reinforce existing physical character of the neighborhood, and I don't see that. I don't see there being a problem with the adjacent neighbor. They're in support, I gather, and it's an existing condition, so everybody's had an opportunity to kind of live with it, and if there are real problems, we would be hearing about them. I'm leaning towards approval of the application, unless I'm missing something totally. I think what's before us clearly meets the four tests. I think it's consistent with the neighborhood character, and my major concern was with any concern that the TCRA or Toronto Regional Conservation Authority had with a stable top of bank and erosion, and they're fine with that. So at this point, I'm in favor of the application.
And I would just add further that in terms of maintaining the character of the neighborhood, the house is being maintained as is. And to me, that is definitely enforcing the character of the area. They're not, if this were an application to take down that house and build a new house, we all know it would be huge and have a huge impact on the character of the neighborhood. So I think that the fact that it's being maintained supports that, and replacing an existing structure that is in a state of disrepair, to reinstate that, I don't think it has a negative impact on the neighborhood character. However, perhaps we would, if we were to propose approving it, tie it to the substantially in accordance with the site plan so that the coverage doesn't allow additional building.
I was going to suggest the same thing, but my only question is, this site plan that's on the screen now, Can we tie it to that? Is that accurate? Are those numbers on there accurate?
I think if we say substantially in accordance with,
Okay.
I'm looking at Mr. Secretary Treasurer, did you hear that? We're okay with that?
Yeah, I can't verify whether
No.
buildings will accept it, because there's writing on it,
Yes.
right? There's handwritten notes, so I can't say whether the examiner will accept this.
Right. Well, they'll have to verify that with the zoning examiner, I guess, but I think, probably should have initialed it, the engineer, but
Okay, but it's site plan A1. It's specific, you can identify it.
yeah, okay. Would you like to propose, or go ahead?
Oh, I was just going to make a comment that, initially when I looked at this, it proved some issues that I thought were with the wraparound, because I didn't see the existing deck on the side. But now that I've heard from the applicant, I agree with what both you and Mr. Nipfeld are saying. And I would agree to tie it substantially in accordance with the site plan.
All right. Does someone want to put a motion forward?
You want?
I can do it. I
Okay.
just need to get the how are we tying it? Is there a number?
Yes, A1
Yeah,
is the
site
A1?
plan
Okay.
A1.
And there is ravine and natural feature protection condition.
And a
Urban Forestry
TRC
1.
Permit is required.
Sorry, we can't hear. Yes, ravine and natural feature protection condition. Sorry, what was the one?
Okay.
TRCA has a
Oh, right.
they have no objection, they just require a permit.
That's right.
So, subject to TRCA.
Permit, memo for permits. right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve this application substantially in accordance with the site plan A1, natural features and ravine protection conditions, and the TRCA memos requesting permits.
Thank you. And seconder, Mr. Nifeld, thank you. All in favor? All right, that's carried. Whew. Okay, yes, we're good. Number 11. To construct, 35 Knoll View Crescent, to construct a new detached dwelling with a rear deck. Variances are for rear deck height above ground, lot coverage, number of stories, building length, front yard setback, north side yard setback, south side yard setback, and driveway width. On file, we have a survey, plans, arborist report, community planning report, urban forestry memo, and 4 letters of objection from 30, 32, 33, and 39 Knoll View Crescent. Let's have our applicant.
Amir Egg Tisadi is unmuted.
All right, thank you. Hello? Mr. Egtasadi, are you there?
Madam Chair, if we continue to have issues, perhaps the agent can log off, log back on, authorize his microphone, and we'll move on to number 12.
All right, we can do that.
So if the agent can hear us, if you can log off, log back in, and just ensure that your microphone is authorized to speak.
All right, let's move on to item 12 then. 439 Manor Road East. This is an application to construct an ancillary building in the rear yard. Variances for lot coverage of an ancillary building. On file, we have a survey, plans, photo, cover letter, 3 letters of support from 50 Gresham, 437 and 441 Manor Road. All right, our applicant is in front of us. Welcome, come on up. Just make sure the microphone's on and we'll start with your name and address, please.
Stephen Miller, 439 Manor Road East.
Thank you. All right. Do we have any, we don't have anybody here on this item and there's nobody online. So any, I don't know that we need a presentation. I think unless, because I believe you provided a cover letter. I had to read it 3 times to make sure it wasn't a garden suite that you're proposing.
No, no.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's
Yeah,
just,
no, it's not for dwelling. It's for tires, lawnmower.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So does anyone have any questions for the applicant?
No.
No? All right. I think we'll just take it into committee then
Okay.
for a decision. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, there's no staff report. That's okay. Do it all the time. All right. Any, does anyone want to
start?
make a motion? Mr. Nipfeld?
Madam Chairman, unless anyone else has any difficulties, I think this is really straightforward. I don't have any difficulties and think it clearly meets the 4 tests. I would like to comment that the applicant is to be commended for the level of consultation he went through with the neighbors. That makes our job, your job, everybody's job much easier, and I appreciate that. I'd like to move approval without condition.
All right. Thank you. And seconded by Ms. Klein?
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. All in favor? All right, that's approved. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do we have our applicant for 11 back?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and committee member. My name is Amir Iqtasadi, and I'm a structural engineer and the agent for the owner of 35 Knollview Crescent.
All right, thank you. So we do have some neighbors, I believe, online who are monitoring, or is there someone in the audience on this item? No? Okay. So if you could provide us, first of all, any changes to make to the application?
After we discussed this with this staff, we reduced the square footage, the coverage from 32.6 to 32, and the front yard setback from 6.49 to 7 meter.
All right, so let's just pull up the public meeting notice and we'll just, for the record, check which variances those are. Oh, I can't find it now. Oh, so coverage, so, sorry?
Yes, coverage changed to 32%.
So that is variance 2?
Correct.
And then I believe you're amending, which was the other variance?
5.
5, all right. And you're amending it from 6.49?
To 7 meter.
Thank you. All right. And then if you could provide us a brief presentation on the application, thank you.
Yeah, so the rear deck heights, we have like kind of things for that. Looks tall on paper, but this is only because the land is sloped down toward the back. And the deck is built level with the main floor and it just connected to the house. So it's just continue of the main floor, of course, like 6-inch lower. And about the third level is interior space within the permitted building envelope. It just, I believe, because of the room above garage, they raised this concern. And from the street and from neighbor yards, the building reads within the allowed heights. Stories is a technical count, not a exact bulk, and not adding any things, any bulk to the building. And building lengths, we just over like a half a meter longer than the rules. The lot is deep and over 36 meters, so there is still a large backyard left. And the side yard are 1.52 meter on each side, equal on both sides. Basically, this is fair to both neighbors and leaves enough room for drainage and access and fire separation. And driveway is wider than the standard because the home has a wide car garage. The front yard still keeps soft landscaping and green space within the limit. In the short, every one of these variances is small. Together, they let us build a home that fits comfortably on this lot and match the look and the scale of the houses around it. Yeah, we respectfully ask the committee to approve this application. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any question.
Sure, I'll start. Is the building length, I can't really see on the site plan, but is the building length because of that bump out of the, I'm not sure what it is. I assume
At the
it's-
back, yeah.
Is that where the building length is measured to? Is that what the additional length is for, or is it more than that?
Exactly, but the building length without that, it's 15.09 meter exactly.
All right, so if we were to if we were to approve it and tie the building length to the site plan, you wouldn't have a concern with that? Substantially in accordance with the site plan? As opposed to, if we were to approve it with the building length
Okay.
that's requested, you could move the whole building back. But if it's for that bump out,
We're gonna reduce the depth of it because of the coverage. We are reducing like from 32.6 to 32. So basically it will be reduced. But yeah.
but you wouldn't have a concern then with us tying it to the site plan? Or is that, are you saying that would negatively affect it? I can't
Sorry,
see,
no.
I can't see the building length measurement on the site plan.
On the site plan, okay, just a minute.
Can anyone else see it?
Basically, it's at the top, we put 15.09 and extended 1.67. Yeah, we show it on the here.
Note to self for future. Make sure if you have a variance that you're requesting, make sure we can see it on the drawing.
See it on the drawing. We put it actually. If you go to the here, 16.76, right? That's the length of the building. And here that we have a little bumper, we put it at the different on the different measurements.
Back, zoom out.
No. Okay, if you zoom it out, yeah, on the middle we put 16.76.
No, still can't see.
You can, yeah, in the middle, yeah, exactly.
Oh, thanks.
16.76.
Still small. No, it does go to the bump out. Yeah, that was my question. So if we were to tie it to site plan, it shouldn't be an issue, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, sorry, I'm not following your. So you are saying that if you are talking about tightening to the site plan, you mean that this will be the number, right? That will be the number,
Well,
but the depth of the building, basically, it's calculated as, I believe, as mentioned on the staff notice examiner. It detail 17.52. It's because of the bay window at the front. So if you go zoom it in around the front of the building, you will see we have a bay window dimension at the top of the page. Yeah, top of the page, if you
So,
go.
so 17.52 is shown somewhere on this drawing?
Here, you see it's 0.76. It's a bay window. If you add that 76 to the number that we have for the length of the building, it comes out to 17.52.
So, but that isn't going to be, that's not going to be negatively impacted by tying it to the site plan. Basically, what the chairman is suggesting is, instead of just numbers, we need to tie it to, this is what you're proposing to build. And so,
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
she's suggesting that we put this drawing in as the guideline for what you're building as well.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, otherwise, this is a very large house you're proposing, and otherwise, if we didn't do that, you would be able to extend the entire
Oh,
building.
okay.
That-
Okay.
that's
Got
my
it. Yeah.
concern,
Yeah.
okay?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's great.
Sorry? Yeah, I know that, but it's just another stopgap. All right, any other questions? No? All right, let's go to our residents. And it looks like they're the neighbors on either side.
The neighbor at 37 Knollview Crescent's unmuted.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. My name is Xiaolin Qiu. I'm the owner of the 37 Noville Crescent.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. We, like me and my husband, really object this. The first, we don't thinking this are minor, and the reason is like say the building we plan to build it's in south of our lot. We are in the north, so they have the move the house front, also move the house back lot, quite a lot. So basically, my house, the natural light was totally blocked in the front yard and in the backyard. So and also like in our street, not in just in our street, it's in the whole area. There are lots of new buildings. None of them change the front setback. It's all line with the street. It's like this creates a very imbalance for the street look. And also like the building, like it's 3 floor, it's tall. So basically my house is in everywhere, it's in the shadow of this humongous new house. It's tremendously, I think it will affect our life. Not like the lights, the privacy, like we basically lost kind of quite of the things. Like did that create a quite of emotion stress. So that's like our main concern, right? So it's in the front, in the back, and also in the side. Basically, we will be like scratched everywhere. So that's like our main concern. That's like our letter basically mean. It's just the huge changes. And also in the front, they also have this stay out of the stairs. It's kind of like townhouse, you know. So that's why we object. And they say that they change a little bit from 32.6% to 32. You change 0.6%. It's basically just the proposed little bit from the front. Before they say the setback is a 6.49, and now they say 7 is 0.5, like half a meter. So that's only because that they reduce 0.6. Like the city has the minimal request for the maximum request for the coverage. There are reasons for that, but they still propose exceed that 30%. they propose is 32, and from 32.6 to 32%, it's almost no changes. Basically, they didn't make any changes.
Okay, are you?
Yeah. So that's like I thank you for listening to me. We respectful, like, so, can consider the neighbors' concern and reject the plan.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, do we have the other neighbor from 33 Knollview?
Okay.
Hello?
Magid Nasheed's unmuted.
All right, thank you. Hello? Mr. Nasheed? Still unmuted? Interesting. Anybody there?
Madam Chair, we were given a late phone number this morning, so
Okay.
why don't I try to reach it?
Sure.
Hello?
Yes, hello. Is this Mr. Nasheed? Oh, what happened? We had him. Hello?
Madam Chair, the phone number we received this morning, I can confirm when I dialed it, it's a New York State number,
Oh,
and it goes straight to voicemail.
okay.
But we seem to have a caller online, although we seem to be losing him.
Yeah, it's odd. I think we got him for a second. Maybe he can hear us, but we can't hear him.
There's not a lot we can do at this point, Madam Chair.
No.
We tried to reach out, and we got a voice message.
Do we have his letter? Yes, we do. Yeah. All right, maybe we just scan his letter. Yep, side yard, I think. Yeah, all right. Okay, well, we tried. Sorry, we're unable to contact 33. But we've read your letter twice now because we read it while we were reviewing it and then we just reread it. So we're aware of your concerns, if you can hear us. All right, let's bring the applicant back to address the comments from the neighbor who did speak, and I assume you've read the concerns of 33 Knollview.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank the neighbors for raising their concerns, and I completely understand their concerns. About the front yard setback, as per staff report, yeah, exactly. We moved the house back, so it will move to 7 meters, so it will be closer to the a zoning requirement. The house at 35 Knollview, or call it our house, and neighbor house on the sides are separated by 3.35 meter. And because our front wall sits forward of theirs, only a small corner, and the amount that it's forward is about 1.5 meter. So only a small corner of the house falls within the line of sight from their front window, and only if they when they stand very close to the glass and looking at the steep angle. So the main view from their window over the front yard and the street stays open. So if this is the concern of the view. And uh, city planning staff reviewed the front yard setback and found it consistent with the pattern of the neighborhood. And the purpose of this rule is to keep house reasonably aligned along the street, and our revised 7-meter setback does that. Of course, we will be happy to look at landscaping or any reasonable step to soften the side of the house facing their properties. Like if we need, we put up trees, something that basically soften the like a view. And also, by locating the building as proposed, we provided a rear yard of approximately 12 meter, well in excess of the bylaw requires. This preserved like generous open space and separation at the rear of the property, which is where privacy and backyard enjoyment matter most for the neighbors. So I believe that's the like a main concern. And in terms of the like 3 stories, as I said, the third level is just a room over garage. It doesn't add any height, and so it doesn't block the lights. And yeah, so these are the like more like a concern that neighbors has it. And driveway, the adjacent homes all have like a double car garage themselves, 2 garage in the established pattern to on the sorry on the Knollview Crescent. A driveway must be functional enough to serve the garage, of course, and I don't think that we are very off in terms of the size of the driveway. And some neighbors had a concern over the deck, overlook privacy. On the rear deck, the privacy, the deck is built level with the floor inside the house, which is like normal. It measures 1.72 meters above grade only because the rear yard is sloped down. The land falls away behind the house. The deck was not raised to create any height vintage points. It simply followed the floor level of the home on the sloping lots. And on the side yard, again, we provided 1.52 meter. I know the 1.8 meter required on this lot is a site-specific provision. The actual, it's actually larger than standard side yard, the city-wide RD zone normally required. So our proposed 1.52 meter on each side is symmetrical, treat both neighbors equally, and it still provides separation comparable to or greater than typical detached lot in Toronto. It also leaves adequate room for drainage, maintenance, access, and fire separation. So yeah, these are most common issues that the neighbor has it. And I already talked to a couple of them, but basically I explained it to them. So yeah, if there is any other questions, concern, please let me know.
Thank you. Any other question? No? All right. Okay, we will take this into committee. Okay, who wants to make a comment? Mr. Nipfel.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Excuse me. I have a great deal of problem with this application. I find the building too large for the lot and really too large for the street upon which it's situated. The common denominator of the street is that the homes are low and sprawling. Most, or if not all, well, not all, but most of them are bungalows or 2 stories. They are not vertical buildings so much as horizontal buildings. I find the form of this structure completely out of keeping with what's on the street, and therefore I wouldn't consider a variance in this case to be minor. I also find the decision to to reduce the front yard setback questionable. I mean, basically, I think all it does is it allows you to build a bigger house in this case. It is not in keeping with the neighbors on either side. It's not in keeping with much of the street. The rear deck is substantially above grade and does, in my view, create a privacy problem. The entire rear elevation, as large as it is, I would argue, is also potentially a privacy problem. So I have a great deal of difficulty with this application. I don't think it's consistent with the context in which it's finding itself, and I don't personally feel that it meets the 4 tests, so I'm unable to support it.
Okay. I initially had some concerns with the application as well, but having read the community planning report, which was recommended changes to the front yard setback and the coverage, I feel that, you know, there isn't a height variance, there isn't a main wall, side wall height variance. 3-story, but 3-story is that's the technical variance, right? It doesn't have a numerical height variance. And I think having the building set forward a little bit on the street is to allow for the backyard to be, and I understand your rebuttal to that would be that it's just a bigger house and that's why you're just moving it around on the lot. But it does protect the privacy of the rear yards, I think, of the neighborhood. It is a big change for the neighborhood, definitely. This neighborhood is characteristic of bungalows and modest 2-story houses, but I believe, you know, other areas within this district have changed, and I think this is kind of the future, unfortunately. But I would say that the variances, I mean, I think that the side yards are reasonable, considering other variances we entertain on a regular basis. I wouldn't like to see them variances to go below 1.5, but I think 1.5 is very common. And clarifying the building length, which was the other thing I have a concern about. I'm satisfied that if you tied it to the site plan, it would be contained. So I don't share the same concerns, and I think staff appear to be satisfied that, you know, with those changes, the application is appropriate and minor and meets the 4 tests. That's my opinion.
I'll make a comment. I am happy that the applicant took some time to look at the staff report and modify the variance number 2 and 5. The site plan, tying it to the site plan would be something that I would agree to as well. And the fact that they took into the consideration what the neighbors were saying and they addressed it, I am happy to approve it.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I will.
All right, Ms. Klein.
I will make a motion to approve this application. Do I do it substantially in accordance with the staff report and tied to the site plan? But I didn't see the number for the site plan. Do I do it based on the date?
By the number. Let's
the
just
number.
get the number. The site plan
What was
number. Is it? I'm getting there.
Side elevation, south?
Oh, you're right. It's called side elevation, but it's the site plan. And does it have a drawing number? Can we see? What do you think? 1 of 13. That's all I see on there. It's not even, it's side elevation.
Yeah.
Instead of elevation.
Side
Madam Chair, if I could just make a suggestion, Correct, the plan is incorrectly labeled,
Yes.
but if you wanted to tie it to the, substantially to the site plan, you can say that. I believe it's the only plan that shows a site plan on file, so if you reference it as a site plan held on file,
And
with the
maybe we
Committee of
could put in
Adjustment.
brackets labeled side.
No?
No?
I wouldn't, only because I don't know what, if the agent corrects it at the time of building permit, it's gonna have a different label on it.
Yeah, okay.
But we will attach it to the decision as well. So you will simply reference it as being attached to the decision and held on file by the committee.
Okay.
Substantially in accordance with the site plan.
Substantially in accordance with the site plan held on file.
Yes.
And attached to the decision.
And did we mention forestry?
The
One?
urban forestry
Yeah.
condition number 1.
All right. Okay, thank you. Now, we have a bit of a dilemma because I believe Mr. Nipfeld would not be seconding that motion. Can I? Okay. All right, I will second the motion. Okay, just checking. Don't usually have to do it. All right, all in favor of the motion? That is 2 in favor, Ms. Klein and Ms. Casson, and opposed, Mr. Nipfeld. The application as amended has been approved. All right, I think that's it. Am I right? Okay, could we have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Nipfeld? At 1:16 p.m.? All right, Ms. Klein seconds that
Second that,
motion?
yes.
All in favor? Carried. All right. Thank you. Thank you to staff. Thank you to my fellow committee members. That was a smooth, relatively smooth agenda. I know, it's so bizarre. Well, it's one of 13.